Boys and girls, this is the Undisputed Era. Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, and you're listening to Going In Raw, baby.
Hey guys, this is Charlotte, and you're watching Going In Raw. Going In Raw. That sounds terrible.
What's up? It's your girl, Sasha Banks, the legit boss, and you are watching Going In Raw. You like that?
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here, youtube.com/Steve and Larson, and available wherever fine podcasts can be found.
It's Monday, man.
I was gonna say wherever 5 podcasts can be found.
Wait, we have 5 podcasts now?
I don't know, apparently. We're also available on the Patreon at patreon.com/Steve and Larson. It's a great way to support Going In Raw. We got a bunch of new patrons from over the weekends. I'm going to read their names right now because from $1, and you would be stunned at what $1 can do for Going In Raw. It goes a long, long ways. For $1, you get a shout out. You also get the show ad free. And I noticed a bunch of people are taking advantage of the ad-free RSS feed that we offer as well. You get all the shows ad-free and you get your own RSS feed. So yeah, let's see here.
It's good value.
It's best value.
Great value.
Maybe. Let's see here. Ethan Benjamin, Gordo Loco, El Mezquito, the Caveman Ken Voss Williams, Andre Lamas, Joshua Bromer, and Shane Wareham. Thank you so much for your support. We definitely appreciate. So yeah. Anyways, how was your weekend?
Busy.
Yeah, did a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to watch? I hope you got a chance to watch.
Well, I took notes here, so I hope so too.
Well, good. Blackpool, what a crowd.
Yeah, it was a really good crowd.
Huge crowd. So that's awesome. Well, not huge, but huge in noise.
Yeah.
Huge in volume.
Enthusiastic crowd, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was crazy. So anyways.
How was your weekend?
It was good. It was lazy, man. It was great. I didn't do nothing.
Oh.
It's pretty awesome.
Man, I haven't had a lazy weekend in a long time.
I don't mean to rub it in your face or anything. Really? Why don't you just take a lazy weekend, dude? That's all you gotta do.
Because I have 2 young children. I can't take a lazy weekend.
I have 1 young child, and I've got several teenagers.
Yeah.
I'm still able to take lazy weekends.
Well, I am not.
That's great. No, it's actually kind of cool because my in-laws and then my parents, they just swing by and grab her on the weekends. It's kind of awesome, I'll be honest with you. Anyways, enough about that. I started watching the Royal Rumble 92. Let's do a couple announcements first.
Yeah, we got Watch Party.
So tomorrow, I know a lot of you have been waiting for this.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, it's going down.
Yeah.
The first round of TV tapings for W Steve W are happening tomorrow over at our Twitch channel at around 12:30 or so Pacific, 3:30 Eastern, probably around that time.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
Gonna do I'll probably do 3 episodes and maybe jamming 4 in. I don't know. We'll see how much time I have. I don't want these things to be an hour long. I think a 40 minute.
35 to 40 minutes.
35 to 40 minutes is good.
The sweet spot. Perfect.
Yeah. So we got that going on tomorrow. That's very exciting. And then Friday, we've got Watch Party, which is going to be going down Friday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific.
Correct.
Noon Eastern.
And it looks like Rumble 92, correct?
Royal Rumble 92. We're going to be watching that and then doing a recap, a Going In Raw view of it immediately following. So that's very exciting. Another thing you get, I just noticed as you're scrolling through the Patreon here, on the Patreon at the $1 mark. So some of the streams that we do on Twitch are a little too racy for YouTube's demonetization system. So, for example, we tried to beat Towers again this past Friday.
Oh, wow, that went well.
It didn't go well at all. We didn't win $1 million. Although 2K Games did tweet out a picture of an amphibian man.
Yeah, that was neat.
And apparently he did beat the 15 competitors in the Gold AJ. So he's going to be cutting some sort of amphibian promo, and then hopefully he'll be taking on AJ Styles.
That'd be something else.
I'm rooting for that guy.
Yeah,
much more than you or I.
Yeah, me too.
I want the amphibian guy to win.
Same here.
But there's a lot of courage because there's so much frustration going on in the towers.
So much.
A lot of cursing. It's not going to be on the YouTube for $1 on the Patreon. We just kicked it there. If you don't want to do it, if you can't do it, that's totally fine. You're not
totally
missing
cool.
anything.
No, you're not really missing much.
You're not missing anything.
It's just further evidence that we're terrible at video games.
I think for 60 days it's still on our Twitch feed anyways.
Yeah.
But if you just want to watch it on a YouTube video, if that works for you, plunk in $1 and you can watch it.
Yeah.
You're not missing anything though.
Yeah.
So we're not really paywalling it. You have plenty of opportunities to watch it free gratis.
Well, this is like a timed thing.
Yeah.
What's the opposite of a timed exclusive? Well, I guess it is a timed exclusive, but it's working the opposite way it usually is.
Timed exclusive.
Because it's not a timed exclusive now, except when it goes away from Twitch, then it will be an exclusive.
Yeah.
But
it's like a ticking time bomb exclusive.
Yeah,
totally.
something like that.
Joe Juarez here in chat says, "Hey, Triple H knows how to put on a good product. If possible, check out Fantastica Mania from New Japan and CMLL. Some good lucha things. Did he do Fantastica Mania too?
Don't think so. I don't think he's involved with New Japan Pro Wrestling at all.
You sure about that?
Pretty sure about that.
What about CMLL? He's a guy who likes history. Anyways, let's talk about something that Triple H was in fact a part of, and that was NXT. Hold on, WWE NXT UK Takeover Blackpool.
Correct.
Right?
I'd say the full title. The full title. It was a fun show.
Oh, this was a blast. This is an early contender for show of the year.
There's only been 2.
Yeah, I know. That's why.
That's
why.
Been 2 shows.
I'll be honest with you, though.
Pay-per-views this year.
I'm going to get a lot of crap. I'm on a lot of heat from this.
Why?
I kind of prefer this over Wrestle Kingdom, to be honest with you.
They're
2 different things, and I acknowledge that.
Yeah.
But my personal predilections lean towards this. That crowd was hot, man.
Yeah, it was a really hot crowd.
You could tell it felt like, and especially like, and you could be cynical and say, oh, this is probably directed from the company. But like so many wrestlers were on Twitter saying, man, what a huge moment for the UK scene.
Yeah.
For British wrestling to get to this point. And man, I kind of feel that. I really do. I wish I was there. Couldn't make it. It's too far away. Who's got time for that?
I kind of feel like you just want to move to somewhere in England.
I do, factually.
All right.
That is totally true. But yeah, no, I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, it was fun.
The crowd was huge into it.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you like Mustache Mountains? Number 1, what was your match of the night?
It wasn't the best match, but I think the most fun match might have been Eddie Dennis and Dave Mastiff. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
It was to the point. Eddie Dennis just looks like me, like 6 inches taller in terms of his body, but he's strong, man. He's surprisingly strong.
He could kind of manhandle Mastiff.
Yeah.
And Mastiff is just a big round, like he's just so unwieldy. Try to pick that guy up.
Yeah, he picked him up for 2 razor's edges, only hit one of them, and then did like the Cass's old finisher on 3 steps. That was pretty impressive.
I love the cartoonish wiggling of his legs.
Oh yeah, when his legs were about to give out.
Trying to sell that. Here's the problem with that. It freaks me out because he's so lanky.
I know.
I feel like anything's gonna snap at any moment.
Well, yeah, the problem is like wiggling the legs like that. It puts some stress on the knees that probably isn't there otherwise.
Yeah.
So just one wrong step while trying to sell that, you can hurt your knee.
I know.
Potentially speaking.
What
was your top match?
I'm legitimately like
You're torn?
No, I'm actually kind of I'm stunned that you chose that as your.
I didn't say it was the best. I thought it was the most fun though.
Because I love Eddie Dennis. There's so many people that I've grown to just absolutely love in the UK scene. I'm really happy. I want to say this though. I do think that. I'm really happy that like there's 2 things. It seems like they're probably gonna go back to weekly shows, like one per week.
Yeah.
Because I think then it's like regular NXT. It just makes you want it more.
Mm-hmm.
It really makes you appreciate it more.
2 a week were a lot.
I thought for me, it was the main event. And to be honest with you, I know it was a big mark out moment. Walter showed up.
Yeah.
To me, it almost kind of took away from that main event, though. I thought that main event was so great, and it built up, and it really did a lot, I thought, for even though he lost for Joe Coffey.
Mm-hmm.
And then Walter showed up, and it just sort of, I don't know. Like, it was a big mark. It was like, oh, well, number 1, I was out of the room because I fell for the copyright.
You can't do that on an NXT show.
I do that every time.
You can't do that for an NXT show.
And then I got back, and I was like, oh, whoa, cool, because it was already in the Nigel doc. And I looked at my Twitter. I was like, oh, man, I totally missed that one. I went back and watched it. I was like, it was cool. But man, I really love that main event. I think, what happened is what we figured would happen, or we figured Walter would be in the audience or something. And I think not dropping that title of Coffee, I think there's still a big problem. You have Pete Dunne, who's like unbeatable, and you have Walter, who's like super unbeatable. And then there's nobody else.
Well, they're emulating what they've done on the main roster, essentially, is rely on names versus developing new talent.
Well, you've got like, I think another, like one thing that they've, besides that, because I think have actually done a pretty good job developing the talent, it's just pushing them to the level. No, you're kind of right then, I guess.
Yeah.
And then they've also got, like, now Walter, he's going to be kind of like a Brock guy, which is another thing they've done on Maine, where that title's going to be absolutely impossible. So you sort of stop caring because they're going to do the same thing. If they do the same thing they did with Pete Dunne, where it's like you build up a guy over a short period of time, dump him in there against Walter, Walter chops the crap out of him, and then Walter wins.
Yeah.
It's just going to be all these little tiny guys. And then when Travis Banks probably, you know, if he actually does take it from Walter, that'd be fascinating.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to be booking Walter as a bad guy or a good guy, though.
I don't know.
Or if he's just going to be like that mean guy.
Or if he's just going to be Walter.
He's going to be Walter.
The guy who likes to turn people's chests into hamburger.
Which I'm not huge on either. I don't know. I got to watch some Walter matches to really
We've seen a Walter match.
Live, right?
Yeah, against Keith Lee.
Yeah, it's probably really good, too.
It was pretty good.
My memory, not good. Anyways, let's kick things off with Mustache Mountain. How'd you like those that Bulldog-inspired
cool, man.
tights? Some new
really
tights
cool.
for Mustache Mountain?
It was weird seeing him wear pants because I've never seen him wear, like, ring pants before. I mean, pants I've seen him wear, obviously.
Tight leather pants.
Tyler Bate especially seems to like his tight leather or tight pleather pants. So
I was cracking up when they showed all the pictures from the Performance Center, the UK Performance Center.
Oh yeah, it was British Strong Style and Rhea Ripley were wearing like probably what they normally wear, right. And everybody else had to wear the NXT UK branded shirts.
But of course, like Tyler Bate and Trent Seven just dressed to the nines, and especially like Trent Seven looks like a proper English gentleman.
He's got the long coat,
business
long
guy.
Overcoat, scarf,
a Peaky Blinders guy.
Yeah.
The other Tyler Bate though, he's about to go to a club.
Yeah, like in the 70s too. With the tight pants, like he's got a polyester shirt, some sort of floral print.
He just needs some like white powder on his nose, and he'd be the 1970s right there.
And it's only buttoned halfway up.
Yeah. I love it. Because the thing is, like, personality-wise, he's not that guy. Personality-wise, he's not flashy.
Doesn't seem like it.
He's just so understated, but then what he wears, it's interesting juxtaposition there. Anyways, they took on, of course, Liverpool's number one tourist and Liverpool's number one tourist guide.
That sign someone had that said Liverpool's number 2, and it was Zach Gibson's head popping out of a toilet. That was great. That's great.
That's good.
Well-placed potty humor.
James Drake had a new jacket.
Yeah, they both had new tights.
Yeah, were they camo? They look
camo with some gold writing and design stuff on
it. Gibson still had that same jacket.
It might be his only jacket.
I wonder if he ever washes that.
I would hope so.
Or it was just like, gee, Zach. Anyways.
I mean, he only seems to wear it, to and from the ring. Yeah. Well, just to the ring. From the ring, he doesn't wear it. So that's
true.
A minute?
That's a good point.
If you were to wear something 2 minutes every day, how often would you wash it?
I wear this at least 3 days a week, this flannel. And I'm in here. Sometimes it's really hot. I don't wash it.
I'm going to sit over there.
Oh, look at that big zit on your neck. That hurts, doesn't it?
Yeah, not good.
That sucks, man.
Yeah, thanks for pointing that out, by the way.
No, I can't see it. I'm looking at it. It looks like it hurts. Like it's like when Adam Cole had that weird giant lump on his head. Glad he got that taken care of before.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that seemed like a necessity before going to Maine.
Did you watch the Untitled doc?
No, I didn't have time. I didn't watch this till last night.
It's heartbreaking. It is flipping heartbreaking.
I imagine. It was concussions that knocked him out, right?
Yeah, and then there's like a bit from his documentary that he made about himself, which is super depressing, about his retirement tour.
Yeah.
And number one, they show footage from his like final match, and it's like maybe 50 people there, which is crazy. And then he wakes up, and it's the next night is when Daniel Bryan cashed in and won the World Heavyweight Championship.
Oh, wow.
And Nigel like gets up, turns on the camera, he says, Daniel Bryan just sent me this text, and it's like a really nice text. Hey, they just put the title on me. I wish you were here. And he's like, so it just goes to show, never stop chasing your dreams, kids. You'll get there.
Oh, wow.
It's so depressing.
That's a bummer, man.
Anyways, Mustache Mountain versus, what do they call them? The grizzled young veterans?
Grizzled young veterans. Grizzled veterans.
Yeah. Trent Seven got busted open.
They tried to say it's from a James Drake forearm, but I don't know if that was what it was because he was bleeding like on the back of his head, somewhere back here.
Yeah, when they replayed it, it looked like the elbow grazed the back of his head.
Maybe it did. I thought it looked like it hit him square in the cheek. Anyways.
This is a really fun match.
It was a fun match.
Really
it was as opposed to some of Mustache Mountain's other really good tag matches. This one kind of really took its time.
Mm-hmm, yeah, they gave this a lot of time. Yeah,
it
was a killer opener.
Tyler Bate, he kind of did his neck spot, but earlier on, but instead of just like supporting the weight of Zach Gibson or James Drake, you know how to accurately describe this. So he was on his neck doing a neck bridge with Zach Gibson trying to hold him down, and so rather than just use the bridge to keep his shoulders off the mat, he did that and then somehow turned his entire body over. So using his abs, put his legs up, and flipped over Zach Gibson. I've never seen anybody do that before.
Yeah.
That's some incredible core strength right there.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Pretty incredible. Me and Tyler Bate, strong dude, big strong boy, hit the airplane spin on both James Drake and Zach Gibson simultaneously. There was a lot of kickouts of finishers in this pay-per-view.
Yeah, I liked it.
A
I
lot.
liked it. That was good.
A lot. Trent Seven hit a burning hammer on Zach Gibson. James Drake breaks up the pin. And then Mustache Mountain's going for their finisher. So you got Trent Seven, Dragon Sleeper at the ready on James Drake. Tyler Bate doing his rebound off the ropes into lariat. Zach Gibson intercepts Tyler Bate as he bounces off the ropes. Ticket to ride. Shortly after, we see a suplex from Zach Gibson, 450 from James Drake. Trent Seven kicks out. Is Trent Seven going to win a match sometime, or at least not eat the pin? He's like the Carl Anderson of Mustache Mountain.
Right.
He just eats pins all the time.
Yeah, you think of them as like a super winning tag team.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and Trent Seven's always losing.
Yeah. How about that Doomsday device that
that suicide dive was crazy.
Yeah.
That was crazy. Zach Gibson locks in Shankly Gates on Trent Seven. Tyler Bate goes and tries to break it up. James Drake intercepts him again. Eventually turns it into a Shankly Gates for himself.
Yeah.
Tyler Bate powers out and breaks up the other Shankly Gates with a Death Valley driver.
Yeah, that was a great visual. Both Mustache Mountain in dire straits right there.
Yeah. And then Drake does kick out of, because Trent Seven's really selling the arm, so he can't get both arms up for the Dragon Sleeper. He's only doing it with one. They hit their finish, but James Drake kicks out. Seven goes for a 7-star lariat. Drake ducks it, hits a suicide dive while Tyler Bate's in Doomsday device position on top of Zach Gibson's shoulders, takes Tyler Bate out of the match, and then Drake pins Trent Seven after a ticket to Mayhem. Your very first NXT UK.
I loved it. I loved the character stuff going on here. I loved when there was that moment when Gibson realized that it was after the Doomsday device suicide dive thing. When he sort of realized, oh man, we have both these guys out and we're both up. Get your butt up and roll Trent Seven in there and let's finish this. I thought it was a really, really
There was
cool.
another time where Zach Gibson had the advantage on the outside and he was yelling at James Drake, and James Drake ran over and kicked somebody.
I loved
early
it.
on the match.
Like that kind of stuff I can't get enough of. I think it's just a sense of urgency right there. Makes you feel like it makes you feel like they don't know what's happening. You know, like, oh, this is all on the fly. That's the best kind of wrestling. That's all I want. But yeah, of course the crowd was huge into this match too. Of course, plenty of great Gibson chants, anti-Gibson chants, shoes off, stand up, all that stuff. You
weren't standing up or taking your shoes off.
Now, my shoe was firmly on.
Well, if you're at your house, I'm guessing you didn't have your shoes on.
No, but spiritually, they were super on, and I was sitting down the entire time. I do not hate Zach Gibson. I think he's Liverpool's. Now he is NXT UK's #1 tag team guy anyways. So I think that's great. Good looking champions right there. I think that's
good
fantastic.
looking belts too. Those belts look great.
Yep.
Next we had a video. Something happened apparently earlier in the day. Is
Travis Banks was walking into the
Empress
venue.
Ballroom.
Yeah, and there was a sneak attack, a sucker punch from it was just a pounce from Jordan Devlin. So he came in and started attacking Travis Banks. Banks is selling a knee injury. So up next was that match, Travis Banks versus Jordan Devlin. Banks came out. He was still selling it. And then before the bell even hit,
Suicide dive.
Suicide dive, yeah.
And he starts laying into Devlin on the ramp. Devlin, they work their way down to the ring steps area. Devlin evades a move from Banks, sends Banks into the ring steps, and then a chop block from Jordan Devlin, followed by a bunch of stomps on the knee on top of the ring steps. And then they staff come out to break things up, and there's some trainers and stuff that lead Travis Banks up the ramp. Devlin drops a promo as Banks is being led backstage, saying, "I'm the best wrestler in Ireland. No one's better than me.
Yeah,
nothing trumps the ace." So
I'm
on and
assuming
so forth.
Travis Banks is still probably does not. Maybe he's. I mean, I don't know how much you can like. Is they still not want him to fight because he's still like nursing an injury or something?
Well, the injury was a shoulder injury. He's already had several matches back since that.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it was they just want Finn to be on the card.
Boy, man, yeah.
Anyways, Sid Scala and Johnny Saint come to the ramp. Sid says, "Oh, we thought this might happen after what went down earlier today, so we have a plan B. So sit tight there, Jordan Devlin."
Yeah.
And then Finn Balor showed up.
Dude, that crowd exploded.
There's people chanting Finn as soon as Sid Scala and Johnny Saint were on the ramp.
Yeah, that crowd exploded because I think word got around. I know Waymaker was talking about it during like the tag match. I think even before that, he was saying, "Yeah, Finn's in town." I mean, I just figured, he'd be in the crowd. You know, they do that thing where the WWE superstars are in front row. Like Charlotte, I think, was front row.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, because both her and Finn were in town for the unveiling of the Performance Center in London.
Right. So, anyways, they said, we got Plan B. So then we got Jordan Devlin versus Finn Balor. This is a heck of a match, man.
Yeah, it was fun.
It's funny because a lot of people, I saw on Twitter, anyways, a lot of our friendos out there were saying, why don't they let Finn be like this on main roster? It's because of the routine of main roster. Like on Raw, it's just sort of like, just go out there and do your thing. Whenever there's like a special match, people will they'll get up for it. They'll bring that extra intensity.
Yeah.
I
mean, obviously beyond this being, the first takeover, NXT UK takeover, sorry, because there was a takeover in the United Kingdom when Finn was in NXT. I'm sure it's meant
something. Remember what he
something.
came out dressed as?
Jack the Ripper.
Demon Jack the Ripper.
Yeah. This probably meant a lot to Finn because he did trade Jordan Devlin.
Is that kind of a weird thing now that I think about it?
Yeah, no, when it happened, we both thought that was kind of weird.
Coming out as Jack the Ripper?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I know what kind of like lore he has from, our perspective. You know, from I'm not going to say it's romantic, but obviously it's not exactly the same as like the Green River Killer, who's like still alive, I think, and he's still like they caught that guy and he's in jail now, right?
Something like that.
Like,
I feel like it came out as Zodiac.
That's a little more acceptable because Zodiac is probably long dead, unless he is Ted Cruz.
Yeah. Nonetheless, Zodiac was never caught.
Right? Yeah.
Like Jack the Ripper.
Yeah. It was so the Brits, they love reveling in some of their more nefarious past, though.
Yeah,
that's one thing I've told you about this.
Yeah, and I've heard. I mean, there was a Tower of London. They had isn't there a whole museum dedicated to?
So me and Lacey went to like one of the museums. I think it was like the London Dungeons or something like that.
Yeah.
When we were on honeymoon, but I distinctly remember. And again, I was a kid. My imagination probably got away from me. But like I remember there being. We went on a field trip. And there was like a distinctly disturbing museum that we went to, like showcasing a bunch of like torture devices and like, a bunch of fairly realistic looking. And again, I'm a kid. When you're a kid, you think things like The Greatest American Hero is awesome. And then you watch it again and it's like, wow, it's crap.
You think humans could actually fly and that kind of stuff.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
Well, it wasn't that dumb. But, you go to these things and it's like, oh my God. So they kind of like to revel in how messed up they were back then. Mm-hmm. It was ages ago, obviously. Mm-hmm. But Jack the Ripper was like, 1860?
1800,
like yeah, something like that. Anyways, this is a fun match. Devlin kicked out of a 1916. That was cool.
Yeah. Finn had a hell of a time trying to get his coup de grace off. It took him like 3 or 4 chances. Couldn't get it off. He tried to go for the drop kick that sets it up, eats a super kick.
Yeah.
Goes up the rope a couple times. Devlin reverses.
Yeah.
Can't hit it. Man, Devlin, that ripcord belly to back or German suplex type deal he does. Mm-hmm. Man, that looks stiff.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, Finn ate that, kicked out. Devlin hit the circle button for a dirty pin, both feet on the ropes at one point. Finn kicks out. Devlin goes for a moonsault. A good-looking moonsault, too. Balor gets his knees up, and then he eventually wins with the coup de grace.
Yeah. Oh, that was good, man. I totally understand the idea of Finn going over. They're not going to Finn job to Devlin.
He's a main roster guy. He's got to win. But it was a really good showing. A really strong
cool
showing.
Would it have been, though?
That would have been great.
It would have been great if
Jordan
won.
Devlin cheated to win or something like that.
Yeah, that would have been good. But then that does a lot more damage to Finn than it does to help Jordan Devlin.
Having Devlin lose a really competitive match does wonders for Devlin.
Yeah. After that, we had Larson's match of the year, Eddie Dennis versus Dave Mastiff. This was a fun match. I really wish this would just be their feud. They would just keep on going with it over who's the monster of NXT, which is such a goofy feud.
No, it really is.
Because
why is Eddie Dennis so upset about being undefeated after like 4 matches? It's not much of a streak, I'll be honest with you. The entire motivation.
Right.
You haven't had to like Drew McIntyre. Yeah, you're gonna lose sometimes.
Yeah.
That's a healthy attitude to have.
Well, the bigger problem Eddie Dennis has is that somebody else is referred to as a monster. Eddie Dennis is the least looking monster. I can name off the top of my head 4 other guys in NXT UK who look visually more monstrous. Even Zach Gibson has a more monstery face than Eddie Dennis.
Wild Boar is more monstrous, and he's half the height of Eddie Dennis.
Probably most like top monster
Yeah.
in NXT UK.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, I mean, Mastiff kind of looks monstery. All sorts of dudes look more Eddie Dennis is like literally his backstory is he's a school principal or headmaster, whatever.
Yeah.
Like that's his backstory. He's just
Yeah,
a normal dude who gave up on his dream, but then he really didn't. They never really revisited that.
Yeah, I know.
He just looks like tall, like we've said before.
Like his hair's really well put together.
It's all proper.
Yeah.
He's very preppy.
Outside of the ring, he dresses pretty well.
Yeah, he's very preppy.
Yeah, I don't see what's
There's nothing really monstrous
about him. No,
he's just lanky dude.
Other than he's just tall.
Yeah. That being said, who are we to question the man's motivations?
Oh yeah,
killer DQ match between him and Dave Mastiff.
Yeah, it was fun. It was to the point. Pretty early on, Eddie Dennis, they're brawling all around the ring and stuff. Eddie Dennis goes in the ring, produces a kendo stick, hits Mastiff with it, and then proceeds to pull back the padding ringside, exposing some sort of parquet or wood floor underneath. Before that, though, Mastiff had got the ring steps, put him in the ring. Dennis somehow catches Mastiff in like a body slam position, swings him around, kind of like Cass's finisher, the East River Crossing.
Yeah.
Hits that on the ring steps.
Yeah, that was good.
That was a pretty impressive feat of strength.
Yeah.
Then Eddie Dennis gets a chair. He hits a razor's edge on Mastiff. I guess usually he does like a razor's edge buckle bomb type deal, but the story was that he could get him up, but he couldn't walk all the way across the ring. Then Eddie Dennis gets a table, gets set up in the corner. They start brawling on the floor again. Dave Mastiff hits a rolling senton on the exposed floor. Eddie Dennis hits his finisher, but Mastiff kicks out. And then Mastiff hits a German suplex. Eddie Dennis is selling it. Mastiff hits a cannonball and puts Eddie Dennis through the table for the win.
Yes.
Dave Mastiff, still undefeated, the true monster of NXT UK.
The actual monster of NXT UK. So that's good. After that, we saw a couple additions to the NXT UK women's division. Kaylee Ray and Jazzy Gabert. That's awesome. Jazzy had a great showing in the first Mae Young Classic. She got over super big with the fans.
She was offered a contract, but during the physical, they found some sort of neck injury.
Yeah,
that she had to get fixed before potentially signing a deal. And 2 years later, or a year and a half later, it happened.
Yeah, she got it fixed, and she's been performing for a little while since then. So yeah, she's back in NXT UK. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's great.
Her. That's great. And then Kaylee Ray, I've seen a couple of her matches. She's great.
She was in the first Mae Young Classic too.
Yeah. So that's all good stuff. Love to see it. I love those are really strong names. So I love that they're loading up with just like quality talent.
Yeah, I know.
It's like Walter and Jazzy Gabert and Kaylee Ray. It's good stuff. Anyways, before we continue, here's a word from our sponsor, forhims.com. Hey, Larson.
What?
2 out of 3 men start losing their hair by the age of 35.
And if you're noticing a receding hairline or a bald spot, would you rather try odd solutions, or worse yet, do nothing, or turn to science and medicine? With forhims.com, you can get your hands on well-known generic equivalents to brand name prescriptions to help you keep your hair.
Larson, tell me, do you need to waste time sitting around a waiting room just to go in for an awkward doctor's visit to get yourself some Hims?
No, not at all. Hims offers real doctors and medical-grade solutions to deal with hair loss. Just go to forhims.com, answer a few questions, and a doctor will look over your order, and bam! Products are shipped directly to your door. It's that easy.
And right now, Going In Raw listeners can get a trial months of Hims for only $5 while supplies last. Go to forhims.com/GIR. That's forhims.com/GIR. This would cost you hundreds if you went to a pharmacy or the doctor.
Again, we'd like to thank forhims.com for sponsoring today's episode, and you're really helping out Going In Raw by going to forhims.com/GIR.
After that, we had for the NXT UK Women's Championship, Toni Storm, the challenger, versus champion Rhea Ripley.
This especially early on, really felt like a fight.
Yeah, I know. That's what I liked about it.
It had the right amount of sloppiness to it.
Yeah. It had a, yeah, you're right. It was a bit on the sloppy side, but I think that it just made sense for the story. It was a really good story match. That's what I liked about it. Because, yeah, these two were just going at it, and it was pretty physical.
Yes, physical. At one point, like the latter half of the match, first half was just them beating the heck out of each other.
Mm-hmm.
Rhea Ripley puts Tony in that inverted clover leaf she's been doing. Tony reverses it into an ankle lock. Rhea gets to the ropes. Then Tony Storm kicked out a Riptide.
Yeah, first time that's happened.
Yeah. Then Tony hits a headbutt, hits a Storm Zero. Rhea kicks out.
Ooh.
And then the finish saw Tony Storm reverses a Riptide into a Storm Zero. She picked up the W, new champion.
Yeah. This was a necessity right here, man.
Yeah.
But Rhea Ripley is so good.
Yeah.
She is so good. But if Tony didn't pick up this title, it's like, okay, well, what does she do at that point?
Mm-hmm.
So that should be fun.
It's gonna be an
Keep this feud
interesting
going.
dynamic now that Jazzy's in NXT UK.
Mm-hmm.
Because I kind of feel like the potential's there for there to be some overlap because Rhea, she's so physically imposing.
Oh, you think they're gonna book Jazzy as a heel?
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's why I don't know.
Yeah.
Jazzy, she's pretty ripped too.
Yeah, that's gonna be a hell of a feud. Oh, you mean when they?
Oh,
fight?
I don't know if there's gonna be some overlap in terms of if they do book Jazzy as a heel, they're gonna have two jacked, imposing heels carrying the top of the women's division there.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's be a redundancy.
I just want to see those two fight.
Oh, that'd be
Just
great, too.
Fight.
Yeah.
I don't know. It'd be kind of interesting given the kind of response Jazzy got at the first Mae Young Classic. I'd be kind of surprised if they book her as a heel, just because people like her so much. Like,
Yeah.
people are gonna want. It's kind of like it's probably like a little bit like Walter. It's like somebody like that's so big and imposing. It's like you just kind of root for him,
Well, especially when Walter can turn people's chest into hamburger.
I wonder how. I mean, I know that they did a taping and there was like footage that came out with him doing that. I wonder how far they're actually gonna let him go.
I'm guessing they'll let him chop how he chops.
It's not gonna be like a PCO thing, though.
No, but I don't think like he's going to be dropping hundreds of chops on someone's chest.
I mean, there's plenty of times on main roster, like Daniel Bryan.
At the Greatest Royal Rumble, his chest was hamburger.
His chest was nasty, yeah. So they let them do that from time to time.
Finn had a match against Drew where his chest looked pretty bad.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
So they're going to let him do stuff.
Then we had our main event. Joe Coffey versus Pete Dunne for the NXT UK Championship.
I liked early on this match that Pete Dunne hit a forearm. The forearm that usually lays out everybody on Joe Coffey, and he no-sold it completely.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
He just stared at Pete Dunne. It's like, oh, okay, really, that's all you got?
That's good setting up, like over, everybody sells that form, even in regular NXT.
Exactly. It's the story of this is the one guy that Pete Dunne has faced so far that is physically imposing and strong enough to outlast a major part of his offense.
Yeah.
So pretty much the story was Pete Dunne doing his technical joint manipulation, submission stuff, while Joe Coffey was trying to outmuscle him.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much it.
And then they couldn't figure out that top rope spot.
Yeah, they tried that twice.
They tried it twice. And both times I got scared to heck because...
Was it supposed to be a situation where like Pete Dunne eventually... I was trying to figure out what it would be. Because his finish now is kind of like the top-mounted triangle thing and doing the finger stuff. That's how he's won the last few matches.
Yeah.
So were they supposed to transition directly from that, from the top rope spot?
Maybe he was supposed to, because didn't he hit a bitter end to set up the submission at the very
end?
End?
He hit a bitter end. Coffey kicked out.
I'm assuming Coffey was supposed to set Pete Dunne up for a top rope move. Dunne was maybe supposed to reverse it into like a top rope bitter end.
I don't even know how that's possible.
Me neither, but they figure it out. I mean, honestly, it's just like get into somewhat what looks like the position and then just throw him off, and then into that. But like after that second time, oh God. Like, especially Coffey,
the first one is he just did like a flat back bump on the floor for the top rope.
Yeah, and then you can tell the ref was like, by the second one, all right, they'll just get in there.
Well, the first time they missed it, then Pete Dunne picks up Joe Coffey and is talking to him for a good 30 seconds.
Yeah,
trying to lay out a new finish to lead up to that spot again.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
But then when they missed it the second time, they just back in the ring, bitter end, kick out.
Yeah,
finish.
Yeah. But no, otherwise it was a really, really fun match. Why don't you go through some of these moves here?
As mentioned, Coffey no-sold that Pete Dunne forearm early on. It's really kind of set up the vibe of the match. They're brawling outside. Coffey hits a power slam on Pete Dunne on the ramp. and they start really selling that Pete Dunne's lower back or back has been compromised somewhat, and Coffee really starts working that over. Back breakers, body slams, elbows to the back. Dunne responds with a forearm, and that one Coffee sells. So Pete Dunne's chipping away. And then Pete Dunne hits the bitter end, but Coffee kicks out. Action moves to the apron where Coffee hits a sit-down powerbomb. Back in the ring, Pete Dunne kicks out of... One thing I like about Joe Coffey is they try to make the build to his finish kind of interesting. Where there'll be a bunch of like a false attempts at it, and eventually he'll hit it. And this happened here. We had a clothesline, but Pete Dunne kicked out. This was an interesting spot where Pete Dunne has Joe Coffey in a triangle. Coffey picks him up, tosses him on the top rope, and then climbs up to the top himself. He kind of just throws him off.
Yeah,
that was interesting. Coffey himself goes for a bitter end. Pete Dunne reverses it to a DDT. Again, Pete Dunne hits another bitter end, but he's so wiped out from what happened in the match up to that point, he can't make the pin. Instantly, Coffey rolls out of the way, and then the first botch on the top rope where they were trying to do something. It looked like Coffey slipped and just fell straight back on the ring mats.
Like it sort of just illustrates just how much balance you really need.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you see even dudes who are expert at it, been doing it forever, they get up there and you see like how careful they are. And I'm sure these guys did this probably more than a couple times in practice, you know, in preparation for the match. But when you get up there and you're in the heat of it
with 1,000 eyes,
man,
2,000 eyes staring at you.
You know, I mean, what Coffey did, I imagine exactly what I would do. You know, you just get up there and
I know.
You know, because that's what happened. It's like, oh God, and then you just fall and hope to God you don't hurt yourself.
So Pete Dunne picks him up because Pete Dunne falls in the ring. He rolls out. He starts talking to Joe Coffey for a while as he picks him up. Coffey hits his finisher on the floor. Back in the ring, he kind of hits something like a bitter end, but not quite. And Pete Dunne kicks out. Again, they go the top rope. Coffey this time, I don't know if he falls again or what, but this time pulls Pete Dunne down with him.
Yeah.
Both hit the floor. Back in the ring, Coffey kicks out another bitter end, and then Pete Dunne, like I said, does the top-mounted triangle thing, works over the fingers. Joe Coffey taps.
Pretty quickly, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I thought it was a phenomenal. The crowd at one point were chanting, "Are you watching Vince McMahon? Are you watching Vince McMahon?"
Apparently he was.
A point that, he tweeted out that he did, and it was awesome. And then
is that really Vince or a Vince bot?
I mean, it might be a personal assistant.
Yeah.
Nobody's tweeting out nothing from his account without his express, dictation.
Yeah.
All right, dictate this.
Yes, I watch hashtag NXT UK Takeover. Yes, it was awesome.
And then apparently Razdy, the little interviewer guy, I didn't see this, but he was doing the Facebook Live Q&A thing, I think, with Triple H.
Yeah.
And he asked him, he said, so a lot of people are chanting for Vince McMahon, and then Triple H cut him off and said, I like you, I want to keep your job. I want you to keep your job. Or something like that. He just cut him off. So, then Walter comes to the ring.
Yeah.
And Coffey tried to get in the mix.
He's a boot from Walter.
Yeah.
So he's out of the mix now. Stare down, Walter and Pete Dunne. They pose off. End show.
My thing is, man, yeah. I think number one, the ratings are really good on the network ratings. Like you can see them every, like the newsletter has like
the rankings,
the top 10 rated shows on the network every week. UK is always really strong. I think last week was like number one. Like one of the episodes was number one. That might have been the week when they had. That actually could have been the week where NXT had a clip show.
Oh, could be then.
But still, I mean, the fact that was able to zoom up to number one, it's not like it's 205 Live or anything like that.
Yeah.
It always does really, really strong. And I just think that, the UK especially really likes all those talents. They are used to seeing them over the past couple of years. So it's not like it's just British strong style that's keeping them there. Or that's keeping the rating strong.
Yeah.
So it's like they can afford to be building guys like Devlin and Coffey to like a main title type scene. But then if they want, maybe they want that whoever's holding that UK title to flirt with regular NXT as well.
Yeah, I think that's part of it.
To have more stakes. And if that's the case, then you need a guy like Pete Dunne. You need a guy like Walter. But I kind of do feel like it's at the expense of the rest of NXT.
Oh, it
UK,
totally is. It totally is.
And that's a bummer to me. I think those guys deserve. I think they put in such great work.
That's one of the things NXT does really well is that anybody, in the top half of the card can be inserted into the title picture, and it's believable.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah.
And it's interesting they're taking a more main roster approach, seemingly, to the United Kingdom territory.
Yeah. Moving on, we have some questions to get to in a little bit, but first
We got some little news bits first.
Little news bits. Trevor Lee, one of our favorite.
He's great.
Indie wrestlers, is heading to WWE after weeks of rumors. Trevor Lee confirmed that he's going to the WWE. He addressed the crowd at a CWF Mid-Atlantic show and made the announcement saying, quote, "This week I was no longer a free agent because I signed a contract to the WWE." He didn't say when he'd show up in WWE, but he's going to be defending his CWF Mid-Atlantic title on February 2nd. I believe it's going to be a six-pack challenge.
Correct.
Yeah, so easy. That's a good protected loss for him.
Interesting.
No bumps for him to take.
Yeah, no, he might not even take a pin.
Yeah.
Interesting. He chose WB, considering his path is probably the 205 Live versus All Elite Wrestling, where the potential would be there for him to have a much larger role. A larger role, potentially.
Oh, I don't know about that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Kushida's not going to 205 Live. ACH is probably. You think ACH is heading to 205 Live? The next couple of months for 205 Live are going to be interesting.
Yeah, let's get to this news because this is
really
interesting.
are.
Speaking of 205 Live, 205 Live is moving to a new time slot. Its old time slot. WWE announced on Twitter and issued a press release about the move, saying, quote, "Beginning this Tuesday, January 15th, that's tomorrow, 205 Live returns to its original day and time, Tuesday nights at 9 Central, streaming live on the award-winning WWE Network. The episode will also be replayed Wednesday at 6 Central, followed by new episodes of WWE NXT and NXT UK. So rather than just completely ditch the Wednesday time slot, they're doing both.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how long that's going to last. Like if they're moving it back to Tuesdays live and then going to replay it Wednesdays at this previous time slot, if that's just kind of like a transitional phase or if they're going to continue doing it.
Well, I mean, they're just running a rerun at that point. So I don't know. I wouldn't look too deep into the fact that they're replaying it on Wednesday. They have programming. Might as well put it on both times to try to get more exposure for the show.
So Cedric Alexander tweeted about it. I'm not sure he's exactly thrilled. Saying, quote, "I seem to find out a lot of things through Twitter first these days," in response to the announcement. "Back to killing it after SmackDown, I guess."
I wonder what else. Yeah, I guess did he find out the first time that it was going to be on Wednesdays instead of Tuesdays?
Here's the major thing though, because it seemed like there was more of a crowd and they were more into the show when they were taping it before SmackDown. Now it's going to be on after SmackDown live. Is it going to be the same situation where half the crowd leaves and those who remain are kind of worn out from SmackDown?
I don't know, man.
That's my concern.
I don't know.
Because it seemed like, from a crowd perspective, they were kind of finally getting into it. At least more so than they had prior to the move to Wednesdays.
Yeah.
What they really need to do is just do like a Full Sail type venue for 205 Live.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm so the matches are so great. It's a really wonderful show. If it doesn't cost them anything extra to air it, then I think here's the thing, man. We've already seen there's a path from 205 Live to main roster. It's a bit more rarefied air than NXT, perhaps, if you're going from one to the other. But there's a path to get there, like Lucha House Party. All those guys are on Raw. Obviously, Mustafa Ali, huge deal for him and us to go to SmackDown. So we see that. We see that there's a line there. Trevor Lee, in my opinion, is the kind of guy who he's such a force of personality. It would kind of surprise me if he landed on 205 Live for more than just a cup of coffee, maybe. Look at Leo Rush. That dude's all personality, and he found his way to Raw because there was a good fit for him there. Yeah, but he's got matches there, and he still has matches on 205 Live.
Occasionally.
So I don't know. I mean, you talk about AEW, they're not even on TV yet. All they have are 3 shows scheduled.
Yeah.
So,
but they also have 10 people on the roster. So if Trevor Lee was the 11th, he would have
By the time
In
they
theory,
get
a
to
pretty
TV,
significant
they're going to
role.
have a lot more than that.
15.
So I think this is great for him. I don't know. Maybe he'll go to NXT. I don't know where a dude like Trevor Lee fits in, but I think that dude is great.
Oh, I like
he's
Trevor Lee
so
a lot.
good.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
And I have faith that like regardless of where he lands, like that was the thing about Leo Rush. I don't know if I was ever really like, oh man, that guy's going to end up buried anywhere, because he's really, really good. And the bottom line is the guys who are really, really good, they're going to end up in a decent spot, you know? Like we've talked about this before, like who is really, really good? I can name one act on main roster that's really, really good that I feel they're not really where they should be.
Who?
Kanellis.
Sanity.
Yeah, Sanity's good. Sanity's good. I mean, the club, but look at them. They've got Botch Club, so they're happy right now.
Well, they're not where they probably should be on from a wrestling perspective.
Yeah, but those are like those are two acts. Those are two acts. And I think hopefully they'll put, once Nikki Cross comes around, maybe they'll put Sanity wherever she goes, they'll go.
We'll see.
And even it's 3 high profile managers for Nikki Cross, that's at least some TV time.
Hopefully.
There's just I guess my point is like, I don't know, people in WWE, we haven't reached the point yet where there's all sorts of like, oh man, where's this guy going to go? I guess we'll just, when it happens, because at some point you think it happened, like with all the talent in NXT, like 2 years from now, what are they going to do 2 years from now?
I have no idea.
But I guess I'll just worry about that 2 years from now.
That seems to be their
That's
attitude.
what WWE does. We'll worry about that problem when it happens.
We'll sign up everybody and worry about how to utilize them. Utilize them. Can't talk this morning. Sorry.
Use them. Just you say use them.
them.
There you go.
Next, we got a brief little update on the Vince biopic that's seemingly been in development for 10 years. PW Insider has this update, and they're saying about this movie called Pandemonium, quote, PW Insider has confirmed that a new draft of the film, currently titled Pandemonium, has been completed and was sent to WWE executives, including Vince McMahon, for feedback last month. Last year, Bradley Cooper had been offered the role of Vince in the TriStar Pictures production, which would tell a version of the life story of WWE's chairman and CEO.
Can they just say
My
Luke?
note, fictionalized version.
Yeah.
We had been told last year that Cooper had been awaiting an updated version of the film's screenplay before making a decision on whether to take on the role. There is no word whether he is still in the mix for the film or not.
Is that movie of his? Did he get
Stars Born?
Did they announce Oscar nominations yet?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Did he get
Lady
any?
Gaga won a Critics' Choice Award last night for my wife
Did
was
they do
watching
the
that while I was watching.
Golden Globes? Yet?
Yes, they did.
Did that get nominated?
They got nominated for a bunch of stuff, yes.
Did he get nominated for director?
I think so.
He ain't gonna play Vince then, unless it's like a big deal.
Unless he directs it too.
A Star is Born 2, the
I
Vince
know.
McMahon story.
I know. A Vince is Born.
A Vince. Oh, that's good, man. That's good. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
He's a big deal now, and he was a big deal back when this started, but he's a big deal now.
Yeah, he's a much larger deal now, that especially if he's Academy Award nominated director.
Yeah, man. Once those actors, once they get a little bit of gold for directing stuff, like didn't one of his movies get like didn't an Affleck movie get like some sort of critical acclaim? Like
Yeah,
people liked
the
Argo. Oh, Argo won Oscar. That's right.
Yeah, I think it won Best Picture.
That's right. Yeah.
Even though he didn't get nominated for Best Director.
Yeah.
I never saw that one.
Then he was a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Then he was all like maybe disgruntled to playing Batman.
Yeah.
God, I hope they replace him with Gyllenhaal.
That'd be great.
You know who would make a great Batman? Kylo Ren.
That'd be interesting.
Oh man, I could see it. That'd be killer. It was like they went with like a younger Batman.
Yeah.
Oh man, what's his name? Adam Driver.
Yes.
Oh, he's fantastic.
Oh, he's great.
Last Jedi might be my favorite Star Wars movie, man. Let's talk about Raw.
Yeah, let's talk about Raw.
It's on tonight.
So we thought Dean and Seth might be done. Guess not. First item here on Raw Preview, rivalries converge at Intercontinental Championship triple threat match after pitting Dean Ambrose in this Monday night six-man tag team match. An increasingly aggressive Seth Rollins earned an Intercontinental Championship that, per Triple H, would be a Falls Count Anywhere match. I feel like there should be a match, Intercontinental Championship match.
Yeah, you're right. That is correct.
Taking full advantage of the lenient stipulation, the Architect battered the self-proclaimed moral compass of WWE all over the arena, even ambushing his foe before the match. After hitting Ambrose with a stomp that would have won the bout. However, Bobby Lashley, who had brawled with the Kingslayer as Raw went on the air, hit the ring and mercilessly pummeled the would-be Intercontinental Champion. After Ambrose scored the pinfall, the Almighty One continued the brutality by driving Rollins through a table. This coming Monday on Raw, Rollins will once again have a chance to reclaim Team Red's workhorse title, but he'll need to battle both Ambrose and Lashley in a triple threat match. Who will walk into WWE Royal Rumble event as Intercontinental Champion? Dean Ambrose.
Dean Ambrose. The answer is Dean
Ambrose.
Yeah. Next, the Boss and Rowdy One face common enemies. Embodying everything WWE's fresh start, fresh choice under the McMahon family stands for, Sasha Banks seized opportunity this past Monday night, challenging Nia Jax for the right to challenge Ronda Rousey for the Raw Women's Championship at Royal Rumble event. With best friend Bayley neutralizing the threat of Tamina at ringside, the Boss handled her business with the irresistible force, making her foe tap out. To the Banks statement, as their title bout looms, Banks and Rousey must join forces to face Jax and Tamina in tag team action on Raw. Can they coexist, given what awaits on January 27th in Phoenix?
Is Braun Strowman truly ready for Brock Lesnar?
Oh, another split screen promo this time.
Here, let me find my place real fast.
Okay.
After suffering a
Does his
shattered right
butthole
elbow.
make his mouth jealous because it's got crap in his
All the poop that spews
mouth.
out of it. After suffering a shattered right elbow back in November and undergoing surgery, Braun Strowman officially competes for the first time since his injury at WWE Royal Rumble event, challenging Brock Lesnar for Universal Championship. The Monster Among Men came to Raw this past Monday night to throw down with the Beast incarnate, but Lesnar refused to give Strowman or the WWE Universe the fight they wanted. Despite what he says, is the recovering monster truly ready for a trip to Suplex City? Strowman has suffered defeat to Lesnar before, probably will again, and given his condition, the behemoth seems to be at a rarely seen disadvantage. How is he preparing for the challenge that lies ahead?
Is that the story they're going to tell for his
that,
loss?
Is that Braun's going to come back too soon and he's not ready?
That's like the worst thing you could do for a monster. Monsters aren't supposed to really care about pain or recovery.
No. I mean,
I came back too soon.
Doctor says I'm not ready yet, but I ignored him. Be a monster and chew that arm off, and then fight.
Exactly. That's terrible.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
It wouldn't be the first time they did no favors to Braun via his booking.
Yeah. I'd still wonder, man, is that a backstage attitude thing?
I don't know.
I've got attitude problems. I didn't show up for the stand-up. The Revival conspiracy continues.
Truth exposed.
Truth exposed. Revival conspiracy. 2018 wasn't kind to the Revival, and 2019 isn't going any differently for Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder. 1 week after Raw. You see their weird Twitter exchange with Maria Kanellis and Matt Taven?
Oh, after the Revival accused the Kingdom of stealing their moves.
Oh, okay.
What did Maria say?
There was something. Wait, so who?
I think it was Scott Dawson called out the Kingdom for, I don't know what moves it was.
Well, I think the Shatter Machine.
Oh, the Kingdom's doing that now?
I think. But then there was something about stealing spray tanner from the WWE tryouts or something. And then Maria got into the mix. I didn't understand a lick of it, but it was very weird. I was like, wait, are they joking around? Is that awkward?
I mean, Mike Bennett used to be the leader of the Kingdom.
Right, yeah, that's why I figured. I think she was coming to their defense. I don't know, man. Everybody's weird. Wrestlers are weird. 1 week after Raw Tag Team Champions Bobby Roode and Chad Gable held onto their titles after the wrong member of the Revival was pinned, a rematch ended in controversy when Gable scored the uno, dos, tres on Dawson, even though the top guy's foot was on the rope, a tactic that should have broken up the pin. But again, bad refereeing. Following two controversial defeats in so many weeks, the Revival claim there's a conspiracy against them. And really, can you blame them? No.
Sorry, I was looking.
No, you continue that. I'll do this last one.
All right.
Royal Rumble matches take shape. The fields for both the men's and women's Royal Rumble matches are already getting crowded, with Raw superstars like Cena, Rollins, Elias, Bayley, and the Riot Squad revealing they will compete. My goodness gracious. In their respective over-the-top contests. Who else will declare for a Royal Rumble match where a title opportunity at WrestleMania will be earned through grit, determination, and no small amount of stamina? Don't miss Monday Night Raw live at 8/7 Central on USA Network. So I don't know.
So Dash Wilder tweeted, "Hey Matt Taven, decent execution," with a gif of a shatter machine by the Kingdom. "Hey Matt Taven, decent execution, even better considering how many messages you sent Dawson begging him to take down the tweet about you stealing tanning lotion while at a WWE tryout. Steelers gonna steal." And then Maria tweeted, "I've made a lot of mistakes and had to pay dearly for them. I don't know what you were trying to prove, but I know from experience that our business is a very small world. Be careful who you step on the way up the ladder, because they will be the same people you pass on the way down." It seems like Dash was like having a laugh.
Yeah.
Maybe. And then Maria seemed like she might have taken it seriously.
What do you think Mike Bennett feels about all that?
I don't know.
He does a lot of like impromptu motivational speeches on his Instagram.
Yeah.
And on his Twitter.
Yeah, I saw that.
So that's good.
Yeah.
I want to get them off 205 Live, man. I like them. I think they're great. But if they're taking all this business too seriously, they just need to ease up. Those long road drives, maybe they're just too much for people. I don't know. Spray tan, huh? He stole some spray tan.
It seems like this is something like rib they have backstage, you know?
It seems, yeah, I think so.
Who knows?
Like when the Revival and the Young Bucks were going at it.
Yeah.
Like, we all know they just want to fight. They just want to have some fun matches.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maria. Anyways.
You did this last one, right? The Royal Rumble matches.
I sure did. All right. I butchered it. Butchered it good.
I've been butchering it pretty much everything I've been reading today. Super chats. The Tear, Walter versus Ospreay was a recently good match. You have to check that out. Noon Mountain, thoughts on Humberto Carrillo. He's great.
Oh, man. He's fantastic.
Hopefully he is in the Worlds Collide tournament. It'll be a good showcase for his skills.
Dude, if he ends up, yeah, man, put him on 205 Live for people not to watch. I don't know what to do about that. Like, it didn't get good ratings on Wednesday, even though you're right, the crowds were better. They were more into it.
I don't know what they're doing with that show.
I mean, I don't know what you can do with that show.
You got to move it to a better venue.
But that costs money. I think right now it's free. How do you make it must see and free for WWE?
Well, there's like three things you can have in a film production: fast, good, and cheap. You get two of the three.
Well, you know it's good, and it's cheap.
So yeah. Sammy Garcia, does Vince watching TakeOver mean anything for creative on Raw and SmackDown? No, doesn't mean anything.
No, it doesn't mean no, absolutely not.
L.A. Reed, 9449, first time seeing Eddie Dennis. He's fantastic. Jason Dwyer, here's some money for being an awesome inspiration.
Thank you.
Thank you. The Woo Woo Kid, thank you for all the content. Too sweet and a hearty handshake, friendos. Thank you. The Grappling Gamer. Oh, this thing.
Oh, yeah. Well, whatever. Let's see here. I got some questions here on. I'm gonna do the Discord really quick.
All right. We got some on Twitter. I can go there.
Yeah. I put up a thread on the Twitter.
Right, I'll do that.
Rob Mustick. Can't make it to the stream because I start school today. So going in Raw, what wrestlers would be the best and worst substitute teachers? I think
Eddie Dennis would be the best.
Oh yeah, he's got experience. Braun would be one of the worst because like he'd be intimidating, but then he'd botch like a history lesson, and then like the kids would immediately lose all intimidation factor. There.
Yeah, I know.
They would just start making fun of him.
Kristen Harwood, say Walter was to take the UK Championship off Dunn. Do you think it should be Dunn to take it back, or Dunn goes to Maine and someone else takes it from Walter? And who? In WB or someone else who hasn't joined the brand yet. So if when Pete Dunne loses that title, he's on to something else, whether it's NXT Prime or main roster. He's not.
They need to shuffle him along. Like I said, man, I honestly don't think that. I think that the British, the UK crowd, they know all those guys and gals there, and that's the draw. It isn't one guy. It's not British strong style. I think everybody there, that's the draw. Having the NXT UK and all those great matches and stuff. Jordan Devlin's a draw. I think all those guys are draws for the UK crowd. I think it's a strong, deep lineup. And British strong style, Mustache Mountain, they need to move on.
Yes.
They need to have a rematch, maybe for those titles, not win them, and then move over to SmackDown or NXT Prime or something like that.
Yes.
Because, man, come on now.
Ryan Supernova, do you think the way they use Finn at TakeOver should be how they use all underutilized talents? They did the same thing with Tyler Breeze months back in NXT TV. I'd like to see more of it. I'm sure Finn was at Takeover because they just want to make the first Takeover a little bit more special.
Sure, yeah. No, absolutely.
Give it a little more star power.
And that's the cool thing about WWE. That's the cool thing about it. When you have that much talent, and the WWE, they're fine throwing that talent around here and there, for special moments like that. I thought that was great. Let's see here. And I still don't look, man, we all want Finn to be Universal Champion. I get that. I just don't think he's underutilized. I think they always make him out to be a big deal.
He said in an interview recently that now that he's actually won the Universal Championship, granted he only had it for a day, that titles aren't as huge a deal to him anymore.
The fact that I would imagine it's incredibly validating that they said, man, we like you so much, we're going to put that brand new title on you. And then, he got injured and he had to, and that was a bummer, but it's like, man, he had it. They did it. Mm-hmm. They had that faith in you. And he sells a ton of merch. Mm-hmm. People love him.
And it gives him a huge platform.
Yeah. So I don't know. Look, it's heartening, I guess. Everybody loves Finn, and they all want him to have the Universal Championship.
Post a picture on Twitter of him saying going from Blackpool to Memphis for Raw, and it's him napping like on a train or plane, and he's dreaming of the Universal Championship. So
that was good. But no, man, give him the Intercontinental Championship at Mania.
AJ Rods, do you agree that only Eddie Dennis can dethrone future champ Walter?
In my world, yes. He's the only guy who's been able to dethrone anybody in my heart. Let's see here. Jay Bell. Yeah, Jay Bell here has a good point. This is exactly what I'm echoing here. He says, why do we as fans only recognize those with titles as being successful? Sometimes I hear the moans and groans of people and wonder how many titles are needed so you think your guy can be over. Case in point, Finn has not been buried. I agree with that.
No, he should have all the titles, man.
Look, he should have all the titles. Yes, I understand.
He should be the real rock and roll and he should have all the titles. If he's not, he's underutilized.
I know.
Okay, Fabe on Fight. How often do you think NXT UK should have takeovers? Quarterly.
Yeah, quarterly.
Quarterly.
Yeah, quarterly. Mr. Triple Mania, Juan Guerrero Jr. With Finn Balor showing up at NXT UK TakeOver this past weekend, do you think it's possible he could challenge for the UK Championship at Mania to bring the belt and brand some more notoriety? That'd feel like a step down for him.
Yeah.
That'd feel like a couple steps down for him.
Yeah. Walter's going to win that title probably around Mania-ish at the next UK TakeOver.
Sean Lathrop, which group will be talked about more? Did you see this? Juice Robinson's Lifeblood? Jay White's Bullet
Is that a
Club?
Ring of Honor thing or a New Japan thing?
Ring of Honor. Juice Robinson has a faction of his featuring some new names to Ring of Honor, including Haskins. Emma's back. Tennille Dashwood's back. And then a couple other people. I forget who off the top of my head.
And Juice is the leader?
Yeah. And I don't know, man. It seems so thrown together.
Why is Mark Haskins in there?
I don't know. He's way too cool for it.
Yeah, he kind of is.
You keep on reading questions.
John Adams, where's WWE's next performance center going to be located? Either in
Japan
or Mexico.
Here it is. Here they are. Juice, Tennille, Mark Haskins. Oh, Dave Finlay, Tracy Williams, and Bandito.
Yeah, that's thrown together. That's Taguchi Japan and Ring of Honor. That's what that is.
Like, this is not, and I can't stand the
Actually, take Juice out of it, and I'd buy it.
Right? Yes, I agree with that completely.
Have Mark Haskins be the leader.
Take Finlay out. Take Juice out.
Actually, Finlay's not. I don't mind Finlay because at least in terms of like his packaging, it fits.
Yeah, but dude, this clown gear that Juice wears.
Yeah,
I'm not into it, man. Why is the dude wearing a Slow Wolf Pack?
Oh, that's good. That's a good point. Jay Sean Lawrence, do you guys think Finn will win the Rumble and go on to face Bryan at Mania?
Like, Bandito should be leading the crew. Look at him. That dude's great.
Oh, man, he looks great.
He's fantastic.
Talk about great packaging.
Anyway, so who do you think people are... Hold on. Go back to the question. Who do you think people are going to be talking about more? This thrown together
Bullet
weird
Club.
Ring of Honor...
Bullet Club still has that logo. I don't think Finn's going to win the Rumble. It's going to be Seth winning the Rumble.
Fan of the man, better venue, Empress Ballroom at Blackpool, Full Sail, or the Manhattan Center? I I mean, in terms of the venue, it's which one do I want to go to most? Which one do I want to? And it's Blackpool.
You need a larger sample size from Blackpool to make that determination. Like Full Sail, week in and week out, it's pretty hot.
Yeah, man. And we have the insider Karen there too.
Yes, Kai Highwell. This Finn reminded me of Prince Devitt. I mean, he had a little more.
He wasn't like
giddy
making.
up,
He wasn't making.
but he wasn't doing this at all.
He wasn't doing fake executions.
That's
in the middle
Prince
of the
Devitt
ring.
right there.
That's Devitt.
He did at least seem to have a little more oomph to him, though.
Well, yeah, absolutely. This was probably a bunch of fun for him. What a great question. We'll end on this one from Bork Laser. If Walter were to get a tag team partner like every other NXT UK wrestler,
Oh, good question.
who should his partner be?
Eddie Dennis.
Eddie
I wonder if they're going to get
Dennis is partnerless.
I wonder if they're going to put Marcel Bartel and Fabian Eichner with Walter.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Because Walter and Marcel,
Yeah.
Axel Dieter,
Yeah.
you know, they had their thing in WXW. So.
Sure. So I've heard, yeah. That's a good one. Put them with Walter. Mm-hmm. Anyways, that's it for the show. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. $1 and up patrons, stay tuned. We'll be going live shortly.
Yeah, 10 minutes or so.
Let me do all this stuff right here. There's some music for you. Yeah, about 10, 15 minutes we'll be going live. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. Till next time, we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Be a part of Going In Raw today at patreon.com/Steven Larson. Starting at $1 a month, you can enjoy Going In Raw ad-free, gain access to the daily 30-minute Going In Raw post show, exclusive merchandise, and so much more. Support Going In Raw today. Click the link in the description.